previous episode, we saw how Ryu chopped Youngman and his crew's hands and legs, and tortured them until they begged Ryu to kill them. Then, the green-haired guy tried to become the zone leader with his mind-manipulating skill, but the musclehead cut his throat, killing him. Afterward, he started killing other players like a psycho and threatening them to vote for him or he would kill everyone. And if that wasn't enough, he even dared to challenge Ryu. But when Ryu released his deadly aura, the musclehead almost wet himself in fear, realizing he had messed with the wrong guy. Then, the voting started, and by just a few votes, the musclehead became the zone leader. Finally, when the angel announced that Ryu obtained the class Grim Reaper, the god of death, everyone got shocked, staring at Ryu in amazement. Now, upon seeing the words, Grim Reaper, the god of death, everyone was shocked and began gossiping about what kind of class that could be. Some commented that just the name itself sounded incredibly powerful, and they wondered if that's why Ryu was wielding that massive scythe. Amidst the gossip, the musclehead was getting annoyed because his plan was to use his zone leader skill to control Ryu and beat him into a pulp. But who would have known that Ryu had obtained a class from who knows where? So guys, today we have 4,500 likes. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Now, let's continue. The angel explained that this ranking was based on who changed their class first. When the angel saw the system window and noticed that Ryu was not only the first in her zone to change his class, but also the first in the entire world, she praised him. Ryu had obtained his class in only 39 minutes and 42 seconds, which was remarkable. The angel mentioned that the Grim Reaper class was a hidden class, and only one person in the entire world could obtain it. After that, the class would disappear. Interestingly, Ryu's name, Black Scythe, matched perfectly with his class. With a mischievous smile, the angel even asked if Ryu could see the future or something like that, implying that his name matched his class too perfectly. Ryu, ever cool and composed with a neutral face, explained that he didn't know anything about it, and that obtaining the Grim Reaper class was purely coincidental. As they continued their conversation, the other players noticed that the angel was not talking rudely to Ryu, unlike her usual demeanor. Ryu smiled to himself, realizing that this angel was unaware of the process by which he obtained the Grim Reaper class. She only knew he was a Grim Reaper, and Grim Reapers were the natural enemies of the angel. Now, upon hearing Ryu's answer, the angel slowly placed her hand on her lips, showing interest. Her expression took on a somewhat naughty look, as she couldn't believe someone from her zone had acquired a class. This meant that Ryu would be the only one unaffected by the zone leader's skill. Hearing this, all the players got a little confused and began asking what she meant. The angel decided to explain everything related to this with a warm smile. She clarified that the zone leader's skill, authority, would not work on people who had obtained a class. This meant that the musclehead would not be able to command Ryu. She also added that she forgot to mention the most important information. The zone leader could only use their skill on 10 people, and it was a one-time use skill, not an unlimited one. After hearing this information, a chilling silence fell among the players. Meanwhile, the musclehead was greatly annoyed and he cursed the angel, wondering why she had revealed this to everyone. He even muttered, "Is she a bitch?" The angel responded by saying that the fastest player to receive a class should receive a deserving reward. With a flick of her finger, she granted Ryu 2 rewards. The first was a low-rank armor selection coupon, and the second was a mysterious chest. Ryu wasted no time and immediately opened the armor selection. In front of Ryu, 3 different armors appeared: a plate armor, a leather armor, and a mage's robe. Without hesitation, Ryu selected the leather armor, as it would provide some durability without hindering his agility. Next, Ryu opened the mysterious chest, revealing 3 options: 3x experience boost for the round, 3,000 gold, and some information related to round 3. Ryu contemplated his choices, considering that in round 3, monsters would rain from the sky. Therefore, he decided that the 3x experience boost would be the best choice to help him level up. The angel announced that the round had ended, and they would reconvene for round 3 next month. As everyone slowly began to vanish in a bright yellow light, the angel's tone turned creepy as she expressed her anticipation for the next round and the expressions on their faces. With that, the round came to a close, and the system notified that a total of 873,500,205 people had survived this round. In the next moment, we see Youngman panicking, waking up with heavy breathing and drenched in sweat. He first checked his trembling hand, which seemed to be fine, and then his other hand and legs, confirming that they were all intact. This gave him some relief, realizing that as long as he didn't die in that world, no harm would be caused to his real body. With a serious expression, he vowed that in the future, even if God asked him to act rudely in front of Ryu, he would not behave that way again. He didn't want to experience the pain and fear he had felt today ever again. The scene shifts, and we see the bodyguard trying to comfort Aren, who is sitting on her sofa while holding a cup of coffee. She's once again terrified because of what happened, but mentions that this time she didn't do anything. It was all thanks to the bodyguard and Ryu that she was safe. Despite her fear, she smiles and expresses her deep gratitude to the bodyguard, thanking him from the bottom of her heart. The bodyguard, a bit hesitant and shy, replies that he's just doing his duty, which is to guard her body, so it's not a big deal. Aren's expression turns a little sad. She really wanted to express her gratitude to Black Scythe from the bottom of her ass, from the bottom of her heart, and asked if there was any way to do that. The bodyguard explains that since they don't know Black Scythe's real name or what he looks like, there's no way to find him. He adds that he thinks Black Scythe doesn't want his real identity revealed, as he even refused to share his bank account number, which could have led to discovering his true identity. Hearing this, Aren becomes genuinely sad, realizing there's not much they can do, even though she desperately wants to meet him. The bodyguard suggests an idea. If Aren really wants to show her appreciation to Black Scythe, she could consider giving him a meaningful present when they meet in the third round. Aren agrees that it sounds like a good plan and promises to think of something that Black Scythe will definitely like. The bodyguard advised Aren to eat, get some rest, and relax, assuring her that he would see her the next morning. With that, he left her place. As he was about to step into the elevator, his phone rang, and to his surprise, it was none other than the Heavenly Demon on the line. The bodyguard congratulated the Heavenly Demon on obtaining the Dark Knight class. The Heavenly Demon downplayed it, asking about how the bodyguard and Aren were doing. The bodyguard, a bit hesitantly, explained that due to an unfortunate incident, he and Aren had only managed to reach level 8. Fortunately, no one had suffered serious injuries. Upon hearing this, the Heavenly Demon's tone became more serious. The bodyguard, while heading towards his car, mentioned that he was on his way to meet the Heavenly Demon and would provide a detailed report in person, as it was a long story. In a deep voice, the Heavenly Demon inquired if it was related to Black Scythe, to which the bodyguard affirmed. The Heavenly Demon instructed the bodyguard to come to his hotel, expressing a strong desire to hear every detail related to Black Scythe. As the bodyguard entered his car, someone was observing him from a distance, and that someone was none other than Ryu. Rewinding time by 10 minutes, we find Ryu waking up from the dungeon, with Wani sound asleep beside him. Ryu wasted no time and immediately activated his tracking skill, anticipating that the first thing the bodyguard would do was report everything to the Heavenly Demon. Ryu prepared himself to follow the bodyguard's trail, taking advantage of Wani's deep slumber. Returning to the present, Ryu sported a satisfied smile, knowing that his hunch had been correct, as the bodyguard was indeed heading straight to the Heavenly Demon. The scene shifts to a dimly lit night under the full moon, where the Heavenly Demon stands on his balcony, gazing at the city below. He's enjoying the peaceful moment and remarks that nights like this are perfect for work. With that thought, he turns away, knowing that he will soon receive a report about Black Scythe and then get to work. After a while, he sits down on his sofa, waiting for the bodyguard to arrive. He can't help but wonder about this mysterious figure, Black Scythe, who holds the #1 ranking in the entire world. Anxious thoughts occupy his mind, and he begins tapping his fingers on the table, contemplating whether Black Scythe had attacked the bodyguard and Aren. In the midst of his anxiety, he slowly raises his hand and declares that if Black Scythe dared to harm his people, he wouldn't let him go unpunished, no matter his world ranking. At this moment, we finally get a glimpse of the Heavenly Demon's face. He sits with a dead serious expression, clad in a black suit, holding a glass of wine in one hand, the other on his cheek, and his legs elegantly crossed. He means business and won't take any threats lightly, even from the top-ranked player in the world. Then, as he was thinking about what he would do to Ryu, the bodyguard finally arrived at his place and started knocking on his door. They greeted each other, and then the bodyguard, again with a smiling face, congratulated the Heavenly Demon for getting a unique class as well as surviving the round. The Heavenly Demon sat on his sofa and, while drinking his wine, said the second round was easy as a piece of cake. He obtained the unique class as he was lucky and he is nothing special. The bodyguard said that luck is also a skill. Plus, getting second in the whole of Korea is not something that luck can achieve, and it's an honor that he is working with someone like the Heavenly Demon. While the Heavenly Demon was hearing all the praises with a little smile, sipping the wine and glaring at the bodyguard, he placed his wine on the table and said that the bodyguard must want something from him. That's why he is flattering him so much. While the bodyguard was silent. Then, with a gentle smile, the Heavenly Demon asked, while nodding his head, saying he can ask anything if he wants to, and not to be scared. It's not like he will eat him or something. The bodyguard hesitantly asked if the Heavenly Demon could tell how or from where he obtained his class. The Heavenly Demon, with a smile waving his hand, said it was nothing special, as he was just killing some monsters. And suddenly the system notified him that he obtained a class. That's all. Now let's take a closer look at the Heavenly Demon, grinning mischievously. He's got a little secret up his sleeve. You see, it's not because he battled some monsters that he landed himself a new class. Nope, he was just plain lucky. When that angel handed out unique classes to everyone, he didn't score any regular old skills. Instead, he got his hands on a nifty item that lets him switch classes. All he needs to do is reach level 10 and bam, he'll automatically become a Dark Knight. So when he bragged about his class, he wasn't fibbing. Luck was on his side big time. But here's the kicker. He can't spill the beans about this vital piece of info to just anyone, not even his closest comrade. You see, people can change their tune at the drop of a hat, and he's not about to trust anyone but himself. He's playing his cards close to his chest. Now our Heavenly Demon gets down to business, his tone serious as a heart attack. He's eager to hear how they got banged up during the second round. His eyes turn icy as he asks, "Was it Black Scythe?" It's a chilling look, let me tell you. The bodyguard, quick on his feet, reassures him it wasn't Black Scythe who did the damage. In fact, he was their savior in this mess. The Heavenly Demon raises an eyebrow, surprised for a moment. He wants the full scoop, every last detail. So the bodyguard spills the beans, telling the whole tale of what went down, and then he drops a concern bomb. He's worried that Aren might have taken a hit mentally from all of this. The Heavenly Demon sat there, deep in thought. His fingers were all twisted up, showing just how close he came to losing his trusted subordinate and nearly losing Aren. It was a real serious situation. He picked up his glass of wine from the table, taking a sip, and then he asked about the fate of the guys who tried to off his bodyguard. He wondered if Black Scythe had given them a painful end. The bodyguard spilled the beans, saying that Black Scythe had really given those guys a beating, tortured them till they were begging for death, but he didn't go all the way and kill them. The reason? Well, he figured there was no point in offing them, and he also mentioned that fewer people meant less spots for others to make it through. Hearing this, the Heavenly Demon nodded in agreement, thinking that Black Scythe wasn't completely off base. But he had a question in mind. What if those guys came back for revenge down the line? The bodyguard laid out the whole torture scenario, and the Heavenly Demon sipped his wine, going deep into thought. It seemed like Black Scythe wasn't exactly a do-gooder. He probably had his own motives for helping the subordinate. And our Heavenly Demon didn't like being in anyone's debt. So he decided that he had to meet this Black Scythe character soon. He stood up from his seat, thinking that when he did meet Black Scythe, he'd have to thank him from the bottom of his ass. Sorry, from the bottom of his heart. He made it clear that he wanted to keep an eye on Black Scythe, and that if the guy needed anything or asked anything of the bodyguard, he had to report it pronto. Being indebted wasn't his thing, and he wanted to stay on top of things. Then, as he was leaving, the Heavenly Demon stopped midway, turned back, and with cold eyes like a venomous snake, he addressed those who had attempted to harass Aren, referring to them as sons of bitches. He asked for their usernames. As we zoomed out, we saw Ryu standing outside the building of the Heavenly Demon. He was ready to leave the place as his work was done. Now he knew where the Heavenly Demon lived, and his plans would proceed smoothly. The Heavenly Demon was a very strong player, given his class, Dark Knight, which was terrifying. To use the skills of a Dark Knight, the user had to collect a certain aura called Dark Aura, obtainable only by killing a person and absorbing their life essence. This class suited someone like the Heavenly Demon, who had a penchant for killing, but he targeted only those he considered bad. Ryu pondered with a sweet face whether having someone like him on his team would be too dangerous. He decided he would manage it when the time came. For now, he had to go somewhere important. He hailed a cab and began to think about recruiting her. The scene shifted to the store where Ryu had bought the lottery tickets. Inside the store, the owner was holding his head, clearly upset and frustrated. He expressed his despair, not knowing what to do. Just then, someone entered the store. It was Juri, the store owner's daughter. Seeing her father in distress, Juri approached him and asked what was wrong. Her father hesitated at first, saying it was nothing, but Juri persisted in her questioning. Finally, he admitted that the government had banned lottery tickets. This sudden turn of events had left him in a difficult situation. He explained that a player had recently won multiple lottery tickets, each worth millions of dollars, and the government suspected it was due to some player skill or related issue. As a result, they had banned lotteries all over Korea, and since their store primarily relied on selling lottery tickets, they were now struggling with very few customers. Juri, with a warm smile, assured her father not to worry. She mentioned that she would be graduating soon and would find a part-time job to help with their financial situation during this emergency. Her father, however, insisted that her main focus should be on her studies, as her dream was to become a doctor, and he would handle the money problems. With a bit of a neutral expression, Juri revealed that she had given up on becoming a doctor due to the current situation in the world. Her father suddenly realized the weight of his worries and anxieties, expressing concern about what might happen in the next round and the thought of something happening to Juri being too much for him to bear. He confessed that, despite wanting to be normal, he couldn't help but worry, and if things continued this way, he felt like he might go crazy. Seeing her father in such a state, Juri reassured him, holding his hand and telling him not to worry. She explained that now that she had a class, she wouldn't easily die in some otherworldly place. Her father, still puzzled, asked what she meant by having a class. In response, Juri used her skill. She placed her hand close to her father's hand, and a bright yellow light emitted from her hand, entering her father's body. The sudden display of her power left her father shocked and bewildered. With a bright smile, Juri raised her hand, which emitted a radiant yellow light. She explained to her father that he should be feeling a bit better now because of her unique skill, which she had gained from the other world. Her father indeed felt a lot better than before, and praised Juri for her abilities. He thanked her, and she assured him that he could let her know whenever he was feeling down, and she would use her skill to relieve his worries. With great enthusiasm, Juri encouraged her father to cheer up, and he chuckled, agreeing that whatever would happen in the future, they shouldn't worry about it now. They would face it together when the time came. Just then, the doorbell rang, signaling the arrival of a customer. Juri's dad turned to welcome the customer, but was immediately shocked when he saw that it was none other than Ryu, the person responsible for the government's ban on lottery tickets. Juri whispered to her dad, asking who he was, and her father panic-strickenly replied that he was the person who had won 115 lotteries, all in first place. Due to his winnings, the government had banned lotteries, causing significant trouble for their store. Ryu, with a pat on his shoulder, slowly approached the store owner and asked if he remembered him, mentioning that he had bought many lottery tickets from here a month ago. Juri's dad hesitated but admitted that he did remember. Before he could say anything more, Ryu bowed down, startling her father. Ryu apologized, stating that because of him, the store owner was in trouble. He had seen on the news that after he had won the lottery, the government had banned it, and since the store's main income came from lottery ticket sales, the store owner was facing difficulties. Ryu sincerely expressed his regret. Hearing and seeing Ryu, Juri stared at him, feeling somewhat tense and nervous for some reason. Her father waved his hand, saying that it wasn't Ryu's fault and that it was okay. They weren't starving because they couldn't sell lottery tickets anymore. However, Ryu insisted that it wasn't okay. He believed that since he had caused this trouble, he should be the one to solve it. Ryu handed Juri's father a white envelope and explained that it was compensation. Inside the envelope was $10,000. Before they could say anything, Ryu left, leaving them bewildered. Holding the envelope, Juri's father deep in thought. Juri and her dad decided to return the money, and Juri hurriedly ran to catch up with Ryu. Then we see Juri finally catching up with Ryu, shouting his name from behind. Hearing her, Ryu stopped, and as she came closer, she wore a curious expression and asked if he was Ryu. Ryu in turn asked if she knew him, and she hesitantly replied that they were in the same class at college. However, Ryu still didn't recognize her, which left her a bit surprised. She asked if he really had never seen her in class. Ryu responded with a warm smile and explained that he was a single, virgin, a shut-in loser, and not good at socializing with people. Then he admitted that he did know her because she was the one he was after for his team. She possessed buffing and incredible support skills, and he had met her in his 27th life on the 7th round, where he had saved her life. There, he had found out that she was his classmate, so it wasn't entirely a lie when he told her he didn't recognize her. Juri, a bit hesitantly, asked Ryu if they could go to a park to talk. Ryu, with a warm smile, nodded and agreed. The scene shifted, and we saw both of them sitting on a bench in the park, somewhat resembling a couple on a date. Juri handed the money envelope to Ryu, insisting that they couldn't accept such a large amount of money. Ryu, knowing that this was precisely why he had given her the money, refused to take it back, which startled Juri. She strongly insisted on him taking at least some of the money, as her hand was starting to hurt from holding it for so long. Ryu firmly declined, explaining that he had given the money to the store owner because he felt guilty for being the reason behind the store's loss of income. Therefore, he couldn't take it back. Hearing this, Juri began to panic, saying that the amount was too large, and they didn't know how to repay his kindness, which was exactly what Ryu wanted. Juri then had an idea and suggested that she would take $1,000 and return the remaining $9,000. Ryu questioned why she was deciding what to do instead of the store owner, and she responded by revealing that the store owner was her dad, so she had the authority to make such a decision. Then, a bit sad, Juri mentioned that she still couldn't believe that Ryu had never seen her in class, as she immediately recognized Ryu when she saw him in the store. Then, her expression turned a little angry, and she pouted, and seeing her Ryu to apologize to her in his thoughts. Then suddenly Juri, enthusiastic, moved closer to Ryu and urged him to look at her closely and remember her face and name, Juri. Ryu responded with a warm smile, assuring her that he would remember her. Realizing that she was very close to Ryu, Juri blushed slightly. However, her mood shifted once more, and she became a bit sad and depressed, feeling like introducing herself to her classmate at the end of their graduation was a bit awkward. Ryu, still smiling warmly, comforted her, saying that it was okay because now they knew each other. He suggested that even after their graduation, they could meet. Then, he asked if she would mind giving him her number. Juri blushed a little and hesitated for a moment, but eventually she gave her number to Ryu. Ryu mentioned that friends usually had each other's numbers, and with that settled, he said he had to go and left. Juri noticed that she hadn't been able to return the money in the end, but that wasn't the main concern now. Her heart raced wildly, and she felt overwhelmed. She started to feel shy and blush, confessing that she liked Ryu. She explained that she had seen Ryu in her first year, getting brutally bullied, and from then on, whenever she saw Ryu being bullied, she would call the cops for help out of pity for him. Over time, she had started following Ryu regularly and had found herself developing feelings for him. However, she had never mustered the courage to confess her feeling. Now that she had met him again, and Ryu had helped her family, she decided to be more open about her affection. With a slightly tilted head, and while holding her hair, Juri asked if she could invite Ryu for a meal. The video ends here. Write part 5